This is a world where money has no value. Here, time is everything. If you want to buy anything, you have to pay with a part of your own life. Only then can you own that thing. In this world, having enough time is the only way to live a good life. As soon as a person turns 25 years old, a one-year countdown starts on their arm. The moment that countdown reaches 0, that person dies instantly. Rich people have so much time that they can live for hundreds or even thousands of years. They have created a separate world for themselves, where they enjoy a peaceful and luxurious life. On the other hand, poor people living in the ghetto city have to work day and night just to earn more time. If they fail to do that, their lives come to an end. Among these poor people lives a young man named Will. At this moment, he has only 23 hours left on his clock. Will lives with his mother. Since everyone stops aging after the age of 25, even though his mother is 50 years old, she still looks very young. Today is her 50th birthday. To celebrate it, Will worked overtime the previous night and bought a bottle of champagne for her. His mother becomes very happy after seeing the gift. She smiles and tells Will that she wants to see her grandchildren someday. She asks why he never dates any girl. Will simply replies that nobody has enough time for things like that. Then his mother tells him that she has to pay the electricity bill and the bank loan by tomorrow. Otherwise, they will have to pay a heavy penalty. She says she is leaving now and will return tomorrow night after clearing all the bills and the loan. She also explains that she has only 3 days left. Almost all of that time will be spent paying those expenses. That is why she asks Will to wait for her at the bus stop tomorrow evening. Before her time runs out, she will need him to transfer some extra time to her. Will agrees and promises that he will be there on time. Before leaving, his mother touches Will's hand and transfers 30 minutes to him so he can buy himself a good breakfast. After that, both of them leave for their jobs. On the way, a little girl walks up to Will. She gives him a small capsule and asks if he can spare some of his time. Will smiles kindly and transfers 5 minutes of his life into the capsule for her. The little girl happily leaves. This also shows us that people in this world can store their time inside special capsules. They can use them or transfer them whenever they need. After that, Will arrives at the factory where he works. Before starting his shift, he goes to buy a cup of coffee, but he is shocked to see that the price of everything has doubled. Earlier, a cup of coffee cost only 2 minutes. Now it costs 4 minutes. In this world, prices can increase at any time without any warning. Will feels frustrated by this unfair system. Still, he has no choice. He pays 4 minutes from his own life for a cup of coffee and starts working. After finishing a long day at the factory, Will goes to a bar with his friend later that night. At the bar, Will's friend is completely drunk as usual. He is always under the influence of alcohol. He quietly points toward a man and tells Will that this stranger is buying free drinks for everyone. He also says that the man has a huge amount of time. When Will looks at him, he sees that several women are surrounding the man. Then Will notices the timer on the man's arm. It shows 116 years. The moment Will sees that, he realizes the man must be from Greenwich City because people living in the ghetto usually have no more than 2 days of time. Will walks over to the stranger and warns him that he should not be there. He tells him that this place is full of dangerous thieves. They will kill him and steal all of his time. Will asks him to leave before it is too late, but the man does not take the warning seriously. He ignores Will and continues drinking. A few moments later, a gangster named Fortis enters the bar with his group. As soon as people see him, they quickly run outside. Fortis and his gang are the most feared criminals in the city. They force people to give up their time. Will's friend grabs him and tells him to leave as well, but Will refuses. Instead, he hides in a corner and watches everything. Fortis has come to steal all the rich man's time. He challenges the man to a time fight. He says they will settle it with an arm wrestling match. The loser will lose all of his time to the winner. In this world, a time fight works just like arm wrestling. Both people hold each other's wrists. As soon as one person's hand starts going down, the time on that person's arm begins to drain away. At the same time, that time transfers into the winner's body. In the end, the winner takes everything and the loser dies. Fortis asks the rich man if he is ready. The man replies that he has had too much to drink. He asks for a little time to recover before accepting the challenge. Fortis agrees and tells him that this is his final wish. He gives him a few minutes to get ready. To make sure he does not escape, Fortis sends one of his men to stay with him. The rich man walks into the bathroom and starts throwing up because he is badly drunk. In this condition, he has no chance of defeating Fortis. Just then, Will arrives. He knocks out Fortis's guard and helps the rich man escape. He takes him away from the bar and brings him to a safe place. Will tells him that he had already warned him. He asks why he is wasting his life on purpose when he knows he is in danger. The man introduces himself as Henry. Then he asks Will how old he is. Will replies that he is 28 years old. Henry tells him that he is 105 years old. He says he is tired of living. He has already enjoyed everything life has to offer. Now he no longer wants to live. Hearing this, Will is shocked. He asks Henry what he really means. Henry looks at him and says that it seems Will still does not know the truth. He asks if Will has ever wondered why this world is divided into different time zones. He also asks why, in the ghetto time zone, the prices of goods and taxes can be increased at any moment. Henry explains that rising prices are not an accident. Inflation is increased on purpose so that poor people keep dying, and the rich people living in the Greenwich time zone continue to benefit from their deaths. He says the entire system was created by them, then he asks Will to think about it. In Greenwich, people have thousands of years to live. But in the ghetto, people have to work every single day just to survive. Henry says this happens because the rich have forced everyone into this system. They never want poor people to have enough time. They want them to keep working for them forever. By increasing prices, they force people to spend more and more of their time. That stolen time allows the rich to enjoy almost endless lives. Henry says every extra day they live has come from the deaths of poor and helpless people. He says he does not want to live a life that was built on someone else's suffering. After hearing all of this, Will realizes that Henry is a kind and honest man. Henry then asks Will what he would do if he had as much time as him. Will smiles and says that the first thing he would do is stop looking at his timer every few minutes. At that moment, Will has only 18 hours left. He says he checks his clock before sleeping, after waking up, and even while eating because he is always afraid that his time will run out and he will die. Will also says that his mother works very hard to take care of their home. If he had as much time as Henry, he would buy a nice house for his mother in Greenwich City, and the two of them would live there happily. After that, Will tells Henry that they should stay there for the night. By morning, the danger will be gone, and Henry can safely return home. Soon, both of them fall asleep. The next morning, Henry wakes up and sees that Will is still sleeping. He quietly walks over to him and transfers all of his remaining time to Will. He keeps only a few minutes for himself. Then he leaves and sits alone on top of a bridge. A little later, Will wakes up and notices that Henry is gone. As usual, the first thing he does is look at the timer on his arm. He is shocked to see that 116 years have been added to his clock. His eyes go wide with surprise. For a moment, he thinks he is still dreaming. Then he notices a message written on the window that says, "Don't waste my time." At that moment, Will understands that Henry has given him all of his time. He then sees Henry sitting on the edge of a bridge in the distance. Will immediately runs toward him, but he is too late. Henry has only a few seconds left. Moments later, his countdown reaches 0. He dies instantly and falls from the bridge into the water below. Will is heartbroken after seeing Henry's death. Now he has 116 years of life. He also realizes that if he stays there, people will think that he killed Henry to steal his time. Will quickly goes to meet his friend. His friend is completely shocked when he sees so much time on Will's arm. To help his friend, Will transfers 10 years of his own time to him. His friend thanks him from the bottom of his heart. Will then says that it is no longer safe for him to stay there, because anyone who sees that much time will try to kill him and steal it. Will says that now he can finally buy a nice house for his mother in Greenwich City, and the two of them can live there safely. After saying goodbye to his friend, he leaves and goes straight to the bus stop. This is the same place where his mother had told him 2 days earlier that she would meet him after paying the electricity bill and the bank loan. At the same time, after paying all the bills and clearing the loan, Will's mother gets on a bus to return home, but she soon learns that the bus fare has doubled in just 1 day. Earlier, the ticket cost 1 hour, but now it costs 2 hours. She becomes very worried because she has only 1.5 hours left. She pleads with the bus driver and tells him that her son will give her the remaining time at the next stop, but the driver refuses. He tells her that if she does not have enough time, she should walk instead. Will's mother knows that the next bus stop is very far away. Even if she runs on foot, it will take her around 2 hours to reach it. The bus is full of passengers, so she asks them for help as well. Sadly, no one is willing to give her any time. A few moments later, the bus leaves without her. Rachel now has very little time left, so she starts running toward home as fast as she can. Meanwhile, Will is standing at the bus stop with a bouquet of flowers in his hands. He is waiting for his mother because he wants to celebrate her birthday. When the bus finally arrives, many passengers get off, but his mother is not among them. Will immediately realizes that something must be wrong. Without wasting a second, he starts searching for her. At the same time, Rachel has only a few minutes left. She keeps running down the road. She knocks on car windows and bangs on the doors of nearby houses, begging people to lend her a little time. But no one is willing to help her. After running some distance, Will finally sees his mother running toward him. The moment he sees her, he understands that she is almost out of time. He stretches out his hand and runs toward her as fast as he can. Rachel also runs toward her son with all the strength she has left, but now she has only 10 seconds remaining. Just as she reaches Will, her countdown hits 0. She dies instantly before she can touch his hand. Seeing this breaks Will's heart. He had dreamed of giving his mother a better life, but now it is too late. He falls to the ground and cries out in pain. By the next morning, Henry's body has already been found by the timekeepers. The timekeepers are like the police in this world. Their job is to stop crimes and investigate suspicious deaths. Officer Raymond carefully examines the area, but he cannot find any useful clue. Then he notices a security camera near the bridge. He immediately heads to the surveillance room to check the CCTV footage. On the other side, Will now fully understands that the rich people living in Greenwich are responsible for his mother's death. They have created a system where the people of the ghetto struggle for every single second of their their lives. From that moment, Will decides to take revenge. He sets out for Greenwich City, and this is where the real story begins. To enter Greenwich City, Will has to spend 1 full year of his own time. After paying that price, he finally enters Greenwich City. As soon as Will enters Greenwich City, he is shocked by the lifestyle of the rich. His eyes stay wide open after seeing how they live. These people have so much time that they have almost forgotten what death even means. Even the bodyguards of wealthy families have more than 100 years on their clocks. Seeing this fills Will with anger because in the city he came from, most people survive with only 24 hours or less. Will checks into an expensive hotel. While he is having his meal, a beautiful young woman notices him. She keeps looking at him as if she has become interested in him. At the same time, timekeeper Raymond is watching the CCTV footage from the night Henry died. In the video, he spots Will standing near the bridge. The camera did not record Henry falling into the water, but seeing Will there makes Raymond suspicious. He immediately orders his team to gather information about him. During the investigation, the timekeepers discover that a man named Will has recently entered Greenwich City after spending a huge amount of time at the checkpoint. This makes Raymond believe that Will must have killed Henry to steal his time. Without wasting any time, Raymond and his team leave for Greenwich City. Meanwhile, Will visits a casino where several wealthy people are playing poker. He sits down at the same table. The rich players laugh at him because he looks like a complete stranger. But they have no idea that Will is very skilled at gambling. He knows this is the perfect chance to take time away from the rich. Will begins a poker game against a wealthy businessman named Philippe. Philippe is one of the richest men in the city. He owns a time bank that lends time to people. Philippe's daughter Sylvia is also sitting beside him. She is the same young woman who had been watching Will at the hotel. Once the game begins, Will risks all the time he has left. Using his intelligence and confidence, he defeats Philippe and wins 1,100 years. Sylvia is deeply impressed by Will after seeing his victory. She invites him to a party at her house the following evening. The next day, Will buys a brand new luxury car and arrives at Philippe's party. During the party, Will and Sylvia dance together. As they spend more time together, Sylvia quietly begins to fall in love with him. She is just about to tell him how she feels when timekeeper Raymond suddenly arrives with his team and arrests Will. Believing that Will is a murderer, Sylvia also becomes upset with him. Raymond first takes almost all of Will's time away and leaves him with only 2 hours. After that, he arrests Will for Henry's murder. Raymond asks why he killed Henry. Will tells him that he never killed him. He explains that Henry no longer wanted to live. He willingly gave Will 116 years before taking his own life, but Raymond refuses to believe his story. Will realizes that Raymond is going to frame him for a crime he did not commit and send him to prison for the rest of his life. As soon as he gets the chance, Will attacks Raymond's men and frees himself. He grabs one of their guns and takes Sylvia hostage. Using her as protection, Will escapes with Sylvia. He manages to trick Raymond and his officers, and together they make their way back to the ghetto city. At this point, Will has very little time left on his clock. He asks Sylvia to lend him some of her time, but she refuses to give him even a single second because she still believes that he killed Henry. With no other choice, Will drives even faster toward the ghetto. He hopes he can borrow some time from someone there before it is too late. In his hurry, he does not notice a line of sharp spikes placed across the road. As soon as the car hits them, it loses control and crashes off a bridge. Both Will and Sylvia are knocked unconscious. Those spikes were actually placed there by Fortis and his gang. When Fortis sees that Sylvia has 10 years on her clock, he steals all of her time before leaving the scene. After a while, Will and Sylvia regain consciousness. Sylvia looks at her arm and is shocked to see that she has only 30 minutes left. Will also has only a few minutes remaining. Even then, Will transfers some of his own time to Sylvia so that both of them have the same amount left. After that, Will quickly takes Sylvia to the house of the friend he had given 10 years to earlier. When his friend's wife opens the door and sees Will, she angrily tells him that those 10 years became the reason her husband died. She says he wasted all of that time on alcohol until he finally lost his life. Hearing this leaves Will deeply disappointed, but now Will and Sylvia have almost no time left either. If they do not find a solution soon, they will both die. Then Will notices the diamond earrings Sylvia is wearing. They sell them and receive 2 days of time in return. After that, Will takes Sylvia to a public phone booth. He calls her father, Philippe, and tells him that his daughter is still safe. At that moment, timekeeper Raymond is standing right beside Philippe. Will already knows that Raymond is there. Will demands 10,000 years in exchange for Sylvia's safe return. He says that the entire amount must be distributed to the poor through the time bank by the next morning. For Philippe, 10,000 years is not a big amount. Even so, he refuses because he does not want poor people to receive more time at any cost. After the call, Will takes Sylvia to his home. The two of them spend the night waiting for morning. During that time, Sylvia asks Will about his family. Will tells her that his mother died just the previous night because she ran out of time. Hearing this makes Sylvia feel terrible. She finally understands that poor people live in fear every single day. They work extremely hard just to earn enough time to survive for one more more day. The next morning, as soon as the bank opens, Will and Sylvia watch it carefully from a nearby window, but the bank does not distribute any time to the poor. Sylvia is heartbroken after seeing this. She realizes that, in her father's eyes, even his own daughter is worth less than time. Now she finally understands that Philippe is not just a businessman. He is one of the people controlling this entire system. He keeps collecting more years of life through the deaths of poor people. Seeing Sylvia so upset, Will decides to send her back home. He takes her to a phone booth and tells her to call her father so he can come and take her away. Before she makes the call, Will also gives her a gun so she can protect herself if needed. While Sylvia is speaking to her father on the phone, timekeeper Raymond quietly arrives behind Will and suddenly points his gun at him. Raymond is just about to shoot Will when Sylvia suddenly notices him. In panic, she fires her gun at Raymond. Will quickly rushes over to him. The bullet only grazes Raymond's hand, but he is bleeding badly. Will looks at the timer on Raymond's arm and sees that he has only 2 hours left. In this world, even the timekeepers receive only 1 day of time as their daily salary. Will realizes that by the time Raymond's team arrives, he could die because of the heavy blood loss. So instead of leaving him to die, Will transfers 2 hours of his own time to Raymond. Then Will and Sylvia take Raymond's car and drive away. After shooting a timekeeper, Sylvia is now also considered a criminal. Will tells her that she still has a chance to leave all of this behind, but Sylvia refuses. She says that her life in Greenwich was like a bird trapped inside a cage. Her father, Philippe, had placed many restrictions on her. Now, for the first time, she feels truly free because she can make her own choices. She also realizes how unfairly poor people are treated. From that moment on, she decides to stand beside Will and help the poor get the justice they deserve. Together, Will and Sylvia begin robbing the rich. Since Sylvia knows every corner of Greenwich City, they make a plan to steal time capsules from the city's banks and distribute them among poor people. They first rob several banks owned by Philippe, because all of that time had been collected from the deaths of poor people. They fill a large bag with time capsules from the bank vaults and escape successfully. After that, they begin giving the stolen time to poor families. Their actions soon create a huge problem for the government. As a result, the authorities place a reward of 10 years on both of them. The moment Fortis hears about the reward, he starts hunting Will and Sylvia like a predator. But the two of them keep changing their hiding place every day, making it impossible for anyone to catch them. Eventually, they hide inside a hotel. Since they have plenty of time now, they rent the entire hotel for themselves. Fortis finally reaches the hotel and starts questioning people outside. He demands to know where Will and Sylvia are hiding. The local people refuse to betray them because Will and Sylvia have helped them so much. They are even ready to die, but they still refuse to reveal their location. However, after Fortis uses brutal force and threatens them again and again, one frightened man finally gives away the name of the hotel. Fortis immediately arrives there with his gang and captures both Will and Sylvia. Now it seems impossible for them to escape. Fortis forces Will to sit at a table and challenges him to another time fight. Will understands that if he refuses, Fortis's gang will kill him anyway, so he accepts the challenge. The two of them grab each other's wrists and the deadly match begins. Fortis is far more experienced. Right from the start, he pushes Will's hand down. As a result, Will's time starts flowing rapidly into Fortis, but something seems strange. Will is not using all of his strength. It almost looks as if he is losing the fight on purpose. But just when Will has only 3 or 4 seconds left to live, he suddenly shows his real strength. In one powerful move, he forces Fortis's hand down. Fortis is completely shocked. He uses all his strength to push Will back, but he is no match for Will anymore. Fortis's men keep watching the timer on their boss's arm. They realize that their leader is about to die. At that moment, Will takes advantage of the situation. He quickly pulls out a hidden gun from his boot and shoots all of Fortis's men before they can attack him. He knows that if he does not act first, they will kill him. A few seconds later, Fortis's timer reaches 0 and he dies as well. Will and Sylvia quickly escape from the scene. Soon they discover that the rich have changed the rules once again. All the time that Will and Sylvia had distributed among the poor has almost lost its value because the rich have increased inflation many times over. Seeing this, Will feels defeated. He believes that he will never be able to help the poor get the life they deserve. He tells Sylvia that everything is over. He says that even if they give the poor 1,000 years, the rich will simply raise prices again and nothing will ever change. Sylvia tells him that there must be another way. Will then says that they will have to steal millions of years and give that time to the poor. Only then can they fight against inflation and break the system. It sounds almost impossible, but Sylvia already has a plan. The very next morning, Philippe arrives at his office with his bodyguards. Sylvia walks in and tells her father that she wants to surrender. The guards immediately point their guns at her, but at that moment, Will appears from behind them while wearing a guard's uniform as a disguise. He points a gun at Philippe's head and forces him to unlock his private vault. Inside the vault, Will and Sylvia steal a special time capsule containing 1 million years. Every single year inside that capsule has come from the deaths of poor people. After taking the capsule, they escape from the building. As soon as Raymond learns about the robbery, he immediately starts chasing them. He looks at the time timer on his arm and sees that he has less than 1 hour left. He contacts headquarters and asks them to send his salary in a time capsule because he is running out of time. A capsule soon arrives, but before Raymond can transfer the time into his body, he notices Will's car passing by. Without using the capsule, he jumps back into the chase. He knows that if those 1 million years reach the poor, every person in the ghetto time zone will have enough time to live, and the entire system created by the rich will collapse. Raymond gives everything he has to stop Will and Sylvia, but he cannot catch them. Will and Sylvia successfully escape him and return to the ghetto city. There, they hand the time capsule to a young girl, because they already know that Raymond will come straight to the ghetto looking for them. After handing over the time capsule, Will and Sylvia leave the area and hide in a quiet, deserted place. Meanwhile, the people of the ghetto receive the millions of years from the time capsule. Their lives completely change because they now have enough time to live without fear. But after giving everything away, Will and Sylvia are left with only a very small amount of time. Unfortunately, at that exact moment, Raymond finds them. He points his gun at Will and warns him to return all the stolen time if he wants to stay alive. Will calmly raises his arm and shows Raymond the timer on his clock. Both Will and Sylvia have only a few minutes left. Then Will reminds Raymond of something important. He says, "Have you forgot? When you were about to die, I gave you some of my own time. You should be paying that time back to me." Hearing this, Raymond suddenly realizes his mistake. In his rush to catch Will and Sylvia, he completely forgot to check his own timer. He quickly looks at his arm and sees that he has only 5 seconds left. Before he can do anything, the countdown reaches 0 and Raymond dies instantly. Will and Sylvia have escaped from Raymond, but they are still in great danger because both of them now have only 1 minute left to live. They are standing in the middle of a deserted area where there is no one who can help them. It seems certain that they are about to die. Feeling helpless, they hug each other. Then Will suddenly notices Raymond's car nearby. He immediately runs toward it. When he reaches the car, he finds Raymond's salary time capsule and transfers the time into his own clock. Without wasting another second, Will turns around and runs back toward Sylvia. At the same time, Sylvia is running toward him as fast as she can. She has only a few seconds remaining. The moment feels exactly like the day Will lost his mother. He could not save her, but this time he refuses to lose Sylvia too. Will gets very close to her, but just before they reach each other, Sylvia collapses into his arms. Luckily, Will grabs her hand at the very last second and transfers time to her, saving her life. Because of Will and Sylvia, the people of Ghetto City now have enough time to live without fear. They no longer need to spend every day working in factories just to earn a few more hours. Instead, they begin chasing their dreams and start moving toward Greenwich City. As more and more people leave the ghetto, the system created by the rich finally begins to fall apart. And with that, the story comes to an end. If you liked this video, then like it and subscribe to our channel to watch more such videos. Thanks for watching.